The most common question from my student is, how should I study English? There seems almost too many methods to choose from, but that's not really the case. So you don't have to be wondering like, I don't know which one actually works. You should just stick with something and decide like, I do this every day. In other words, it is highly effective that you have a starting lineup. So I will introduce what I recommend as trustworthy starting lineup of effective practice methods. Since it is a great opportunity, I will actually introduce them just like a starting lineup. Well then, I have to change. Sounds good. Alright everybody, time for fun. We begin with a pitcher. A pitcher is a face of the team. It is impossible to win without him. So a pitcher is reading aloud. If I had to choose just one, it's gotta be him. The effect of reading aloud is simply spectacular. Most Japanese people at least work on reading aloud for 12 years from elementary school to high school. And the foundation of our Japanese skill is nothing but the reading out loud. Your language level doesn't matter. You can do it right now. You won't be embarrassed. Whether you're a novice or advanced learner of English, doesn't matter. Some people think that reading out loud doesn't seem effective as it is, but that's not the case at all. When we work on the reading English aloud, our brain appreciates the language practice so much. It would be a wonderful input of a vocabulary. It requires much attention for pronunciation. Grammar knowledge is also enhanced. Our English expression is strengthened as well. Reading out loud serves as the most crucial element in English learning, saying bon appetit. There's absolutely no reason not to do this. Free agent is a right of players. Next up is a catcher. The main job of a catcher is to analyze things around. He decides what ball to pitch in its course. Sometimes he visits a pitcher at the mound and sends some words of encouragement. Clearly, he is very responsible, like a control tower. A catcher is taking a study log. I'm not asking you to write down what you study, but taking records of analysis about your study itself. Without a doubt, a total hours of your study is essential, but you must avoid studying hard without planning. Study plan without any evidence is the same as trying to aim for quotient with just guts. It's 2024, guys! It only takes a few minutes. Anything new you learned, anything you have learned but forgot, what and how to improve them. Just these 3 points, one sentence each. When I ask my students, what's your weak point? Why too many of them answer like this? All of it. What this means is, they don't know what to fix. We gotta figure that out first anyway. No matter where you try to go next, what you must know first is where you are. So, your very first step must be to visualize your weakness and the trend. Analysis lights up your next step. Let's play the game smart. Yes, that is true. Save fans like to get on save line. That is because they want to feel like they are directly paying the players. Sometimes they even try to get on a save line when they don't have to. Next up is the first baseman. What he must have is the power for making arches and stable mentality. After infielders take care of grounders, the first baseman must catch it to make it out. With that being said, the first baseman is English free conversation. Whether online or face-to-face, experience is your key. Your ultimate goal is to communicate with somebody. You may disagree, like just talking doesn't help. It does! Babies learn language through conversation with parents. They have no trouble learning whatever the language they speak. Free conversation is critical for general improvement of English. If it's too easy, discussion or debate in English is also recommended. In fact, if you are more than a novice learner of English, you may as well try an English debate. For the second baseman, speedy and solid fielding are the must. He's busy to handle a cutoff with outfielders and to get a double play in the infield. A learning method for busy and complex language use is vocabulary learning. What the amount of vocabulary gives you is the depth of your English. For example, when you say, I feel good, does that mean happy, excited, comfortable? Advanced English speakers, they're wonderful at it. In other words, this is what novice learners must work on. I have made a video with detailed information about how how to learn vocabulary, please check the description down below for the link. Once you follow exactly how I explain, you will never be lost again in the vocabulary learning. Steadily, yet correctly, let's keep going. Kudo and Kiyohara are not originally from Giants, okay? The next up is the third baseman. Both good fielding and batting are required, so a good cannon is also desirable. We need a strong build player here, so the third baseman is working on grammar questions. The significance of grammar question is often underestimated. However, grammar rules are like traffic rules. You can't drive in unknown countries all of a sudden. Lack of grammar knowledge enables you to have joyful English conversation. But if you're well versed in them, you are never afraid of them. The exact same idea applies to the English conversation. Once you learn rules, you basically have unlimited access to conversation with anybody in the world. Why don't you aim for it? Be supportive to furious fans on Twitter. The next up is a shortstop. He's gotta be a professional fielder with speedy, jaw-dropping glove movement. In other words, he shines with defense. A recommended method which shines like that is extensive reading. Extensive reading is about reading thin books a lot, like ones from Penguin Readers or Ladder series. You must follow these rules. Do not use a dictionary. Change your book if you get bored. Stop reading if you're tired. Your English will improve for sure. The purpose of extensive reading is to have more opportunities to deal with English. It is perfect for higher frequency and total hours of study. It also helps us to reduce insecurity to face English. Especially for reading, we look at the long English passages and be like, oh no. Nobody likes that. This is where extensive reading can come into play. Once you keep reading some easy books, you will like English more, and someday you'll be like, I'm so cool reading English like this, huh? Highly recommended. No, don't underestimate the save dome in early spring. Now we move on to the outfield. The left fielder is unexpectedly busy position. He has to cover a pickoff to the third base, also a round down between the third and the home base. Certainty by steady effort making is needed. Therefore, the left fielder is diary writing. English output is often said as important, so it's gotta be either speaking or writing. And even though you study for English conversation, it seems wasteful if you focus on just speaking only. Because speaking itself is often difficult for beginners, and what they speak doesn't really stay in their memory. So they think they studied hard, but it doesn't really help in fact. I have seen such a case a lot. Bat swinging for 10,000 times makes you a home run king? That's not how things work. This is exactly why I recommend English output through writing. With a very low minimum like 3 lines a day, steady English writing is recommended here. You may wonder if writing helps speaking. It seems like a detour, but it is actually a shortcut. When you work on the speaking, what if I make a mistake? It's embarrassing. These mental barriers are inevitable, but you can avoid them by writing, especially for beginners. Writing is always on your side. Yeah, so meet you at the Save Dome. MetLife Dome? Beruna Dome? Next up, a center fielder is a star player. He covers a large area of the outfield with a cannon. His perfect performance attracts a lot of fans. Such a star player in English learning is listening to English songs. If you're not listening to English songs, I think you're actually making your English study much harder by yourself. There are at least 3 merits. Firstly, linguistic merit. By listening to realistic English, unlike one in textbooks, you can improve listening skills for real situations. This kind of English is called authentic English, and it is quite meaningful in English learning. Second, psychological merit. Whatever you practice, you gotta be interested in it. Baseball boys, for example, are thinking about baseball in class. They even create their own studying lineup. The exact same idea to the English study. English lovers are thinking about English even when they're not studying it. They do have a much brighter future about it. Third, conversational merit. You will have more thanks for conversation and English chat will be easier for you. For example, like, I Can Sing 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars. Man, you like it so much, huh? I went to his live concert. What? Even if you have advanced linguistic competence, there will be a silence without a topic to talk. We can never have enough things for chat. At least we can benefit from English songs just like these. I believe it's worth trying if you haven't. Don't talk about Yama. The last member is a right fielder. A right fielder's laser beam will get the runner, or the runner doesn't even try not to go for another base. This kind of offensive defense is needed for this position. An English practice like offensive defense, that's gotta be shadowing. I also have explained the benefits of shadowing in another video, so please check the description down below for the link. Long story short, shadowing has two merits. The first one is improving your sense of tempo, accent placement, and pronunciation changes. Learning this kind of stuff would assist your English speaking. Something easy becomes more enjoyable to you, and it leads to a beneficial cycle for you to love English. The second merit is about the short-term memory enhancement. The common failure of English listening is that somebody tries to comprehend spoken English, but is too fast to digest for it. This is mainly due to the lack of short-term memory. Once you incorporate shadowing in your study, your short-term memory will be better, and you will be able to understand spoken English much better. But please note, shadowing does have some limitation about pronunciation practice. Regarding pronunciation, reading aloud and vocabulary learning will be effective, or you might as well try overlapping if that's too challenging. Focus reading aloud only if it's still too hard. Let's concentrate on things that are appropriate to your level. Choosing what to do with a good understanding of its aim is crucial here. Once you incorporate them with your weakness, needs, and preference, you'll be fluent in English, simply because they're damn good. If you still don't know where to begin, choose something easy enough for you. Well done, we really want to get in the A class in the next season, and a league championship, and then national championship. Work on your own training this winter for that. I wish you all the best. 解散